our first caller, Phyllis from sunny Florida. She said, Phyllis, welcome to Stay Paid.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
We are doing fantastic, Phyllis. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I do have a question. It's 1.35 million is the price. I always suggested that the price of the property is 22 acres. It's an estate home in the country. And I always suggested that the range would be 1.3. Of course, the sellers always want the most they can get. The buyers always want to get the best deal. He was adamant that he wanted it like 1.95. So we dropped it. And now he's like, yes, it's all my fault. Well, he kind of missed his window because in Florida, it's pretty stagnant. And that's a special niche. It's over $1 million. So it's a unique person that's going to want to buy 25 acres. So my question is, and it was gorgeous estate home. But now fast forward, it's 30 years old. It's a little dated, even though everything is gorgeous inside. It's got parquet wood floors, and such. It's an A-frame, different things. I'm just wondering, what can you do when you have a seller that is adamant that they want to be in the driver's seat and that they demand that you list it at a certain price and then you drop it so many times?
Yeah, it's a great question. So tell me a little bit about your business so far this year. Like, how many deals have you done? Like, give me a feel for how long you've been in the business, how many deals you've done, so we know kind of where you're at.
I've done this for about 25 years now. I have a mortgage broker's license as well. I did that for a while. And then during COVID, I was bored. So I decided to get my broker's license, which was painful, but I did it. And I lean on residential mainly because that's a staple. You get paid in 30 days or so. But I also sell commercial, and I also sell in Florida. There's nothing but land. And so all the developers want land. So my father dealt with that, and he passed away, and I wound up dealing with a lot of developers with large parcels.
Okay. So that makes sense. That's very helpful. So obviously we had a call in not too long ago on our call-in show, which was the same type of question where somebody, did not, I forget what the listing price was. It wasn't the millions, but it was, maybe 300,000-400,000, something like that. And it wasn't worth that. And, Stephen, who's not here, he gave a great answer. And Cody, you can fill in where I lack, but it's essentially, look, you don't control the market, you control the marketing. The question I would throw to you, Phyllis, is, do houses usually sell for more the longer they sit on the market, or sell for less the longer they sit on the market?
Absolutely not. And I've told people, in the past, I'm like, you can price your house at $500,000, but if your neighborhood is selling at 3 all day, every day, you're going to sell at 3. So I did get, regretful apologies nonstop. Oh my gosh, yep. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. And I finally told him, I said, you have got to stop dropping the price and put it where it belongs. And now we're staying there, but he missed his window. Our market in Florida is kind of stagnant. It's starting to pick up, but because he's over 1 million, you just have a much smaller client base. So my question is, how do I get some movement on this thing?
Yeah. It's such a great question. So the only thing, so you're doing the right thing by telling him the truth, because honestly, you're going to help him sell for the most money if you actually price it right. And that's ultimately your goal. And I think Stephen dropped a great line for a caller that had this same question, where he basically said, you're not actually trying to sell them down to I forget where you're at now. I know you had it at 2 million. Where is it at now? Like 1.3 or something like that?
It's 1.35, and honestly, the 1.3 is his number, and that's the number that I recommended.
Right. So you're not selling him down to 1.3. You're actually selling him up to 1.3, because 1.3 is actually what it's worth. And the longer he stays at 2, and Stephen gave this great example of like, hey, if I set it in the market for 4 million, would you call me crazy? Because I want to make you the most money you can make. So why not set it at 4 million? And you would say, of course I'm crazy. And the reality is exactly, you're crazy at setting it at 2 because you're actually going to get less money. And so you've gotten him to admit that. He's now apologized. Now what do you do to actually relaunch, right? And so there's, ways that you can market the property through social media, through postcard campaigns, through outreach to other brokers, through email campaigns. You really need to do a relaunch of this listing is what my advice would be. I don't know, Cody, if you would suggest almost taking it off market and putting it back on. What your suggestion would be there. But my suggestion from a marketing perspective is you have to plan a relaunch. And in that relaunch, right, you've got to come to market with like, basically like it's a brand new property because now it's actually priced right. And you got to do the normal things that you can control, which is social media posting, letting all the other agents in the community know, going to your database to, let your database know of the property, and then door knocking the neighborhood to find out if they know anybody that would actually want to live in this area, doing a mega open house, like these structures. But it's really, if I'm summarizing, is going, okay, what's your relaunch marketing campaign? That's where I would start. I'll throw it over to you, Cody, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, 100%. And are you on a team, individual?
I'm an individual, but I have a follow-up question, and I'm a really super honest person. Here's the thing. So now put yourself in the realtor situation of, okay, if we do, and I totally agree with you. I've had the same mindset that yes, we pull it off the market. In Florida, you have to leave it off the market for 30 days to get it to be a new listing, or you change firms, then you can do it the same way. But my issue is, as the realtor, how you know you're not going to lose them? Because they'll turn around and say, hey, it wasn't that great with Phyllis because I was on the market 6 months, but I'm not going to own the fact that I did that to myself, And so, I mean, do I keep it going and try to revive it and give it CPR? Or do I take that risk of losing that $1.3 million listing now that he's actually at the good pricing? Unless some other agent
such a great
And
question.
How long have you been on the market since you're at the right price?
We're finally at the right price. Yeah. But we've been on the market for 136 days. He's had 374 views on Zillow, and he's had 28 saves.
Okay, and then,
but how long since the right price?
Yeah.
How long since?
Maybe 30, 45 days.
Okay. And
I don't want him to drop it anymore.
And I assume the activity is low.
Yeah. I did have an open house after we dropped it. I had a couple open houses, which for that price range you usually don't. But I did get really good feedback out in the country like that. I got about 6 people one day, and I got about maybe 4 or 5 the next time. But then the third time there was nothing, so I went back to my marketing.
Yeah. So, because my thought in it is, because like that's a really good fear, right? We're always fearful of losing the listings, but it sounds to me that you're probably going to lose it anyways, right? If it doesn't sell. So like, I don't think there's a hurt in taking it off. And then it's all the way you market it too, like an upgrade where, hey, now that we're at the right price, let's do like an upgrade listing. And this is what we're going to do for it. And some type of like a special way how you're going to relaunch his listing to get him excited about the reason why we're doing it. So you just got him to get the belief in, hey, we're priced at the right price now, but we need to act like it's a new listing now that we have the new price, and this is what we're going to do it, is how I would approach it.
And you should have a high degree of trust from him now because he was wrong and you were right. Now, I don't know is that what you're sensing from him? Does he actually see that, or do you think he doesn't see that?
Well, he sees it. When he told me that, I said, I'm sorry, can I get my digital recorder and record that? And he's like, no, I'll deny it.
Yeah, exactly. But the good thing is like always the best policy is always honesty, right? And the best policy is always transparency, but you have to deliver it with confidence. And I think sharing with him, hey, here's the reality of where we're at. And the reason why why I'm the best agent is because I don't tell people what they want to hear. I tell people what they need to hear. Just like I told you with the pricing. And obviously I'm your agent, so I have to do what you want me to do. But I tell people what they need to hear. And this is what you need to hear. We went out too high, like we both agree. We need to relaunch this listing and do this upgraded type strategy. Here's what I'm going to do for the relaunch. We have to keep it off the market for 30 days. We're going to plan the relaunch where we have some social media campaigns going. We're going to have a door knocking campaign. We're going to, whatever you can commit to, we're going to have a mailer go out to the, closest 250 homes, whatever it is. And then from there, you then relaunch because ultimately, if he's not going to use you and go with another agent because of the 30 days, he doesn't want to use you anyways, to Cody's point. And you need to find that out right away and ask him straight up.
And I would shoot the relaunch for like January 2nd. I would get it to like the new year. Hey, let's do a new year
Yes.
relaunch. And like, I wouldn't do it 30 days from like today. We're middle of December. You're not going to have the activity you probably want within those 2 weeks. So I definitely wouldn't do that. I would wait. Let's go. Hey, first a new year. We're going to relaunch it, a new listing. We're going to hit a bunch of eyes. This is my game plan for what we're going to do. And, you know, make it really like a whole new, like relist for you. And I think we're going to get a lot of eyeballs and marketing on it now that we're at the price that we can sell at.
I had one more question because there's a local in Tampa, and he's out in the country, but people, they want a second home or they want to get away from, you know, the downtown or stuff like that. So because of the price range, it's a different client base. But I did find a TV station that was one of the local ones, ABC, that does this real estate thing on Sundays, and they'll come and they'll do a videotape. I have to pay for it. It's costly, but they'll come out there and do a nice video of it, me walking through the home, showing it, showing all the value. Do I do that now, or do I do that after we take it off the market for a month? Because December is our dead month. I don't mind forking out the money because that's what we do, but I want to make the best use of it.
I mean, when do you're saying they run this to all the people in Tampa? Sorry, it's echoing a little bit for me, but you're saying they run this to all the people in Tampa is when they do it?
That's Central Florida area, which is the client base.
Yeah, I would do January. Okay. I would have that as part of
my I would, yeah. That's the relaunch, and tell them what you're going to do.
Because, I mean, that gets me excited. I hear that from you, and I'm like, oh, shoot, that sounds great. And so I get it. You're getting the seller re-excited about an opportunity that he has to sell the house. And this is how it's going to happen. We're going to take it off, you know, and then you explain that. And that's such a big positive. Yeah.
Do you run Facebook ad campaigns, Phyllis, for your listings at all? Have you ever done that?
I do. And what's really super helpful is the fact that I can now tell him, he knew that I was doing this podcast about his particular property. And now I can tell him and give him the feedback from the professionals, my fellow colleagues, that guess what? You've got the same mindset that's been sitting in my mind. I just haven't had the conversation with him yet, but December's dead. So that's when people go on vacation and they just don't look at
He just has to, point. He has to see and believe, which is normal, right? That you have his best interest in heart. Like, meaning like you want to sell this property as bad as he does, and you want to sell it for his highest price, like just like he does, but you don't control the market, but you control the marketing. And, you know, unfortunately you couldn't convince him. You know, probably the failure was not being able to convince him out of the gate. Needed to have harder conversations there probably, but that's in the past. Who cares? Now let's move forward and go, let's relaunch. I think if you bring that TV opportunity to him that you're going to pay for, oh my gosh, fantastic. You also we can help you out with this and show you how to run these listing campaigns. Like
with
Facebook
seller reports.
Yeah, with seller reports. So you can show him, I'm going to go get you 50,000 views on this property. And it wouldn't be that expensive to do that. And then maybe you add in, obviously you're going to run a bunch of open houses. You're going to door knock the closest neighbors to get their feel if they have any people that want to move to the area. I mean, I think when you present forward a plan like that, who's going to hustle like that for him? Right. Who's going to fork out that, like, you know, I don't think he's going to find another agent that's going to do that if you can portray that. And you have this natural degree of trust because he didn't trust you and he ended up in a rough spot. Right. So. Someone just snuck behind you. It was fantastic. It was amazing. Yeah.
Try to duck out of the way, but
my daughter, I saw her.
That's so great. Yeah, it's awesome. Phyllis, really appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully that is helpful. I would 100% lay out what the marketing plan is. Go to ChatGPT, talk to OpenAI or Gemini, whatever your AI is of choice. Tell them what your plan's going to be. Have it crafted into a one-pager that you can sit down and show it to them. Here's what we're going to do to relaunch this thing. So you got to make it a big deal of what you're planning strategy-wise. And if you make it a big deal and you have the confidence, then that will influence him. But don't think he's going to just like it if you're sitting there kind of like a logical conversation. Because of this happening, we need to do this. That's not going to get him excited. Like, you need to present it in a way that goes, hey, look, here's what the marketing's telling us. Here's what the market's telling us. We need to do a relaunch. Here's what I'm planning to do. And you confidently share with them a 4-point approach or a 5-point strategy that you're going to do to relaunch this listing as an upgraded listing.
And the energy with that, like, excited, like, it's such an opportunity and I'm so excited for it, for what we could do for your property. That energy is going to change. The confidence and the energy you have toward this relaunch will be huge.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Phyllis.
We'll make sure to follow up with some of those resources that we talked about so that you have everything at your disposal there.
Thanks for having me.